This comment on YouTube was in response to this reel where I talk about how the Gen Z protests in Nepal do seem to be a color revolution. I love when white people explain that brown people could never rise up against their government unless some white person instigates it, because white people are superior and brown people are just dumb and would never organize themselves against their government. First things first, I never thought I'd have to explain this, but I'm not white. That's obvious, right? To the actual content of this comment, the thing that I think is very important for us to understand, this use of identity politics in this superficial way, decontextualizing identity, decontextualizing racism in this way, is actually pretty dangerous in terms of understanding the point of propaganda and what the US is trying to do currently in that region. We talk about virtue hoarding, which is basically what this comment is an example of, with Catherine Liu on Empire Watch. Check that out. It's really important to understand why we have to be examining these youth Gen Z protests and also how mainstream media reports on it, because as we discussed with Megan Russell from Code Pink, the US is planning a war against China by 2027. How are they going to start a war with China? It's not just by invading China, right? It is via proxy wars in the region. And what is a clear step towards a proxy war? Well, it's provocation from those countries to China. And so obviously installing US puppet states in that region is going to be really helpful. As we talked about with Nepal, it is very close to China. So it would be extremely strategic to have Nepal completely under the US's power. The US already has control over the Philippines. It has added an additional 4 military sites to the Philippines. So the Philippines have 9 US military bases. Then we have South Korea that has around 24 to 28,000 US military troops. We also have Taiwan that also has US military permanent troops. Taiwan's ambiguous diplomatic status is the result of a civil war with China. China considers Taiwan part of China, and so does Taiwan, and so does the US, and really most of the world. Then we have Japan that has the most US military personnel in the entire world. So this entire region is being primed for a reason. And that is why color revolutions are going to be more escalated leading up to 2027, because that is the overall plan. So we have to pay attention to what is behind these revolutions, or so-called revolutions, or so-called overthrows of governments.